Okay, I believe we're good. Are we good? Yeah, we're here. Good morning. How is everybody doing on this fine Monday morning? Where you are, it's probably hot. Well, not everybody. No, if you're in Florida, you're probably hot. But we are not hot. What do we got? I believe it's a high. I think it's 69 degrees again. I'm not making 69 degrees again at noon. It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. I think we got hockey in less than 2 weeks. Well, we got the rookie tournament this weekend. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we've got, I believe, the doubleheader against Nashville's like 2 weeks away. Isn't it like the 21st? So it is about that time. Hey, Trey, how you doing, buddy? Oh, man. It can't be it can't what time you got there? What time you got there, Trey? Vlog, yeah. They're streaming the rookie tournament. I'm sure I'll do something with it. I'm not sure if Kyle and I are going to do something together or if I'm just going to do something. Well, if he's got to do the football, we'll figure it out. There'll be content for the rookie tournament. I just got to sort through how we're going to do it. Oh, it's 11 o'clock? Oh, that's not. Oh, 11 p.m. Okay. Hungry, how we doing? Says, for now, we just have tanks rolling all over Hard Rock Stadium. Should have never changed the name. It should have just stayed Joe Robbie Stadium, and now it's bad juju. Not that we won anything in Joe Robbie Stadium. In fact, if you really want to be technical about things, the whole mess from the Dolphins started with the last game in the Orange Bowl when they lost that AFC Championship game to the Patriots. Cuban says Panthers win a third straight cup or Finns make the playoffs. What's more like? Oh, Panthers win a third straight cup. That's easy. Not that it's easy to win a third straight cup, but yeah. I think it's more likely we win four straight than the Dolphins make the playoffs. I mean, seriously. If you had to put $100 on one of those two things to happen, the Panthers winning four straight or the Dolphins making the playoffs in the next 2 years, I don't know that I would bet on Miami. Exactly, Kazuma. Yeah, we need something. Trey, 11 a.m. in Texas. It's true, though, Cuban. Right? It's bad, man. Look, my plan, honestly, to save the Dolphins, truthfully, let's just get Vinny to buy the Dolphins. I mean, that seems to me to be the best thing that they can do. Let's just get Vinny to buy the Dolphins. Right? It's a shame Caldwell left. That would have been a challenge for him if Vinny would have bought the Dolphins and he could have just hired Caldwell. If he's going to switch sports, he could have just turned the Dolphins around, put him in charge of the whole kit and caboodle, and let him hire real football people. That would have been the way to go. Is Vinny rich enough to buy a football team? I know it's a different time zone in terms of money, right? Vincent says, I'm a real YouTuber now playing with dirt. I approve. You didn't sit on Dangle's face, though. Falling. Oh. Yeah, I hear you, Vincent. I hear you. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. It is what it is. You know? So, yeah, I think the doubleheader is on the 21st, right? Let's see. At some point, I'm just going to end up with these glasses on and they're not going to come off. That day is coming. And it might come this season. Let's see. Sunday the 21st at 3 o'clock. So that's great. I know that so there's a game at 3:00 and a game at 7:00. But that I think that's the week the Dolphins play on Thursday. So there won't be any conflicts there. Conflicts? Whatever. Learn to talk, Jaws. So that'll be a thin football week. Kyle will probably stream the football games, and I'll stream the preseason, that doubleheader. Hungry says, one thing I think people are missing with the whole Marner versus the fans thing is the sheer size of the Leafs fandom. It makes perfect sense for them to have more psychos than any other team. So that's true. I thought about that. Hungry. And while I agree to some extent, I would say that even though they're their biggest fan base, I would still venture a guess that they have the highest, not just the number of wackos, but the percentage of their fan base that gets that way might be pretty well up there, right? So, and I'm just going by, our experience of streaming the games. We've had no problems with any Tampa fans. Like we had one Bruins guy, we had one nasty Ranger guy that came on and said something about Fluffy. We had one Canes guy that got really, really weird. And then it's just been everything else has been Leaf fans. But I get what you're saying, yeah, but there's a lot of good Leaf fans. We got good Leaf fans here. You know what I mean? It's just, I think like I said in that video, I think they've just been gaslit. Hey, Killer Miller, how you doing, bud? Cuban, Vinny's net worth is $6.2 billion. So how much does it cost to buy a football team these days? It's got to be well over $1 billion, right? Craig says jealousy can be cruel. That's true. It got the worst it got was after this year's game 7. That's the worst it got. When we were playing the Canes this year in the Eastern Conference Finals, that's the worst it got in terms of having to block people. It was worse than when we were playing them, for sure. And I can understand it. Because, how many times can Leafs fans go through almost winning a series and then losing in game 7 before you might go a little crazy, right? I could see how at some point some people would turn and have reactions where they're like, I don't care. Cuban says the Dolphins are worth $8.5 billion. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think Vinny can buy them. We're gonna have to do a GoFundMe for Vinny to buy the Dolphins. Think we could pull that off? How many Dolphin fans are there? How much money per Dolphin fan do we need to donate for Vinny to be able to buy the Dolphins? Vincent says this year I'm going to need a leaf blower. Who knows, man? I don't know what to expect. From the Leafs this year. Hungry says, when every year is our year, I understand them collectively crashing out, but the amount of people that cross the line is astounding. Yeah, but I mean, when you see, like from a non-Leaf fan perspective, when you watch, like especially the articles, the things that get written as the year is going on and everything, when I say they're gaslit, I mean some of these fans are just, if they're reading what a lot of these writers are writing and taking it to heart, I mean it's bad. You read some articles, you're like, what sport are they watching? What? So I mean, I think it's a cumulative effect, right? Hongi says also you can tell by Dangle's reaction to the whole thing that he's never gotten swatted. Yeah, when you have an experience, that's what I was saying about having kids and everything. It's like certain things will change your perspective. Craig says, have the Canes and Finns just swap. The Finns can go back to college and the Canes go to the NFL. It might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea. Poor Kyle. If you were on the stream last night for the Ravens Bills, you saw it. Poor Kyle went through all of the stages, and last night he was at the copium stage with, well, if we could beat the Patriots and then somehow if we beat Buffalo, do you think we could still have a good year? And I mean, it's just like, oh, poor kid. I feel bad for him because he hasn't had the hope beaten out of him yet. So that still has to happen. Vince, what do you expect? They live in freaking Toronto. Probably 40% of them are vegan. You know, I read something yesterday that Tom Grossi's a vegan. Is that accurate? I mean, I don't care. Cuban says if each fan gave $100, it would be 6.5 billion equals 65 million fans. If each fan gave 1,000, that ain't gonna happen. Huh. Yeah, that's gonna be a hard one to crowdfund. That'll be a hard one to crowdfund. Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot of money. See that 2 people won the Powerball too. So I didn't wake up a billionaire. And you know I didn't wake up a billionaire because I'm here. You know? So there's that. Yeah, we'll have to find a way to get Vinny to buy the Dolphins. That's the only thing that's going to save that franchise. It's ugly. It is what it is. Vincent. Yeah, I didn't wake up a billionaire. Hey, David. It'll be okay. Though when the Kevin says you wouldn't continue your stream if you were to win the Powerball, I would have taken the day off. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't quit. Hell, then I could have fun. I could have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, if we won the Powerball, we could do all sorts of things. Like if I won the 1.9 billion, like I could be like I would just pay the players to come on and give interviews and do stuff. I mean, I could do all sorts of stuff, right? I could just pay. I could pay an editor. I could get good equipment. Yeah. You know? Then it would be a lot more fun. Jay said, no noon stream today. I won the Powerball. Yeah, exactly. And I'll be back Tuesday. Ever played golf, Cuban? Yeah, when I was younger. There was a par 3 course. I wasn't really good. That's pretty bad. But we went out there and had fun. And then when it would start to thunder and lightning in the afternoon, we would raise, and this is true, we would go out there, my brother Gene and I would go out there on the course while we were golfing in the thunderstorm, and we would raise our clubs to the sky and dare God to strike us dead. Yeah. That's kind of stuff I did when I was growing up. I'm still here. So he's working on the dead part, though. He's just taking his time. David says, I hit Powerball. I'll stream the World Decadence Tour just for you all. Right? Yeah. Top Golf. Yeah, I haven't been in a long time. But we used to go out there and have fun. Craig said, no, I could stream from my luxury box arena apartment. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. If the luxury box has an Ethernet port, that's exactly what I would do. I don't think the Wi-Fi would work there. I hear the Wi-Fi is terrible. But if we could wire in, I think the media has a separate. I think the media has a separate thing. So I just pay for my press pass and pay for the luxury box, right? And then we'll just like every game we'll have a contest on the stream for like however many people can come to the box and watch the game with us and all of that. That's what I would do with the money. Not all, obviously, but yeah. No, I wouldn't quit. That would suck to just quit because I won the money. If I quit because I won the money, Fluffy would raise up from the grave and bite me in the ass. Can't do that. But we could make some changes, that's for sure. I could get some new jerseys. Vincent. I blow it all and I'll be back there whining and complaining. Yeah, you know me blowing all my money on peanut butter and jelly and stuffed peppers. And damn food. It sucks that I got to eat. I try to only eat 2 meals a day, and I get too skinny and my joints start to hurt. Then I have to bitch. And then if I bitch about that, Vincent complains about me bitching about my joints hurting. So I have to eat. You know, is what it is. I got to feed Kyle. Have you seen the size? I mean, he eats. You can't keep a dessert in the house. He eats. You buy ice cream, and you think you got some left, and then you don't. And Kyle's just like, hey, David. Yeah, so 2 people won it anyway. We didn't check our tickets, but we don't live in either one of them. I think it was Texas and Missouri or one of those 2. I think one of the tickets was Trey. Did you win Powerball? I think one of the tickets was in Texas. Did you win the Powerball? Yeah, what else would we do? What else would we do with the money? I guess, a lot of dogs. I guess that would be the other thing. Like, I'd have to miss, because, there'd be a lot of dogs. Hey, Dana. I think that would be the rest of where a lot of the money would go, is I have to add to the fence, a fence in the whole front property, which is like another 1.5 acres. And we just go get some dogs. 1 each, Texas and Missouri. Gotcha. Yeah, we just go get a bunch of dogs. I would just go right to the Humane Society and Animal Control, and we just start putting them in the yard. And as long as everybody gets along, right? And then we would just turn this house into the dog sanctuary, because the house behind me right there is not that far away. 100 yards, 200 yards, maybe longer than that. But it's a big, big, big house with a nice property for horses and everything. And it's for sale. So we would just turn this house into the dog sanctuary and the YouTube house. And I would just buy that house and we would live there. And then, that's what we would do. Sure. Yeah, that sounds about right. Kyle's buddies. Yeah, exactly. Or would it be Kyle's or would it be Fluffy's buddies? Which, by the way, man, it's really weird, but we're fairly certain that Leia is seeing Ellie out in the yard. We're fairly certain. She's taken on a lot of her behaviors. And last week, there's a house right here next to me, and our fences they come close enough together, and so they have a German Shepherd, and they run the fences. They go back and forth barking at each other, but it's friendly. They want to play, and so Leia saw their dog is Luna, so it's Luna and Leia. So Luna and Leia were running back and forth for a couple of seconds, and then Leia just stops. And she runs all the way over to Ellie's grave because it's Sonia, Ellie, and Fluffy. And she runs straight just from just playing, stops, and just runs right to Ellie's grave and is like nosing at the grave and wagging her tail like, come on, let's go play. And then she'd come back and started running with Luna again. And Donna and I just kind of looking at it like, what? What just happened? So, and she's taken on so many behaviors that Ellie used to have that I think they're communicating somehow. It was the weirdest thing, her just stopping like that, ran right to Ellie's grave. And you know how if there's one dog laying and the other dog is trying to nose them and get them up to come play, that's exactly what she went and did. So I don't know what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. Craig says, buy up 50 acres and make yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's probably, I mean, if we won the 1.2 billion, I would just buy the neighborhood. Because that house back there is 5 acres. It's a big house. That's 600,000. There's another house next to me that's an acre. That's about 400,000. There's the horse farm there. I think that was about 7. And then there's one little group of houses and another farm. I could probably buy the whole street for under $5 million. And it would be probably 2 miles of road, somewhere between a mile to 2 miles of road, because it's all land. And then that would be the 50 acres in the no-kill shelter, right? Yeah. And then I would only have $1.89995 billion left. But and the other plan is if we win the lottery, everybody that's ever super chatted and given money gets all your money back doubled. That's the plan. If we win the Powerball, everybody that's ever donated gets all their money. I'm going to hire an accountant. I'm serious too. We'll hire an accountant, and everybody, all the money you've ever given, you're going to get double the money back. Vincent says, look at him, old man in his fantasy. Don't lie. You're going to build a Hefner mansion. Nah. Maybe when I was younger, Vincent. I will get a massage every day. I will tell you that. I will get a massage every day. Greg says Poltergeist 4. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we'll do. We'll just buy the whole. Trey says that's a lot of dos puntos, right? I know, right? Yeah, there's a tax. We figured it out, like to 1.9 billion. Like I think we bought tickets when it was like 1.3. And I think if you took the cash out, it was about 800,000. And then by the time, or 800 million. And then by the time you got taxes and all of that done, it was like close to 500 million. So I could still buy the whole block. Right? And then that way Kyle's got his own house and Matthias has his own house. And then the rest of the houses will just let people that want to take care of the dogs can live in the houses for free. And it'll just be a whole 2-mile stretch of a dog sanctuary with cats. And I'm sure we take on other animals as well. And that is how I would convince Bennett to give me an interview. And that's my only goal right there, is to get a Panthers player interview. They wouldn't be able to ignore us then. That'd work. What do you want? It's Monday. You don't want me to talk about the Dolphins, do you? So we got the rookie tournament coming up this weekend. Yeah, it's a good scam the government's got there, Vincent, on the taxes on the lottery. It's wild, man. Especially here in Maryland, I have to pay another, I don't know, 5 to 10%, whatever it is. So, but yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Everybody get double their money back. Jawsy's buddies. Have you ever been in a very scary situation? Trey, Cuban, the scariest situation I've been in? I had to think about that for a second. I mean, I've been in some one situation I was in was when I ran away when I was 14. Was I 14? I think it was 14. And I took a bus. I thought I was going to go live in the Everglades. Because I went to a camp in the Everglades. And I thought I was going to go live in the Everglades. And it was out there in West Palm Beach, Military Trail. I didn't know how to get there, where, and all of that. And so I took a bus to West Palm Beach. I didn't know where the hell I was going. And I got off the bus, and I didn't realize that, like, when you do the Greyhound route, it's all US 1, and it drops you off in, let's just say, less than desirable areas. And so I got off this bus at about 5:30 in the afternoon in an area of West Palm Beach that I didn't really belong in. And so I got my one bag, kind of like a duffel bag. And in the bag, I have all my cash. I had, like, I don't know, $500-600 cash in the bag, which, you know, you're talking 1985, 86, whenever this was. And so I'm walking downtown, and then I get to, like, where there's a big field, and then there's a bunch of duplexes off on the other side of the field. And I got approached by a guy, and I had gotten a new Timex watch from my parents for my birthday, or maybe it was Christmas. It was Christmas. And, you know, gold tone. It wasn't worth, you know, it wasn't an overly expensive watch. And so this guy approaches me, and he's got all his friends over there at the duplex, and they're all just kind of standing outside. And he comes through the field, and long story short was he ended up stealing the watch. He ended up taking, but he was polite about it. He's like, what kind of watch? I showed it to him. He's like, can I have it? I just needs it for time. He says, I just needs it. I never forget that. He's like, I just needs it for time. And I'm like, I gave him the watch. And he says, what you got in the bag? I'm like, there's nothing, man. It's just my clothes and stuff. He's like, all right. And so he let me walk. He waved to everybody else that was ever at the duplexes. He waved to them, like, to let me go by. Like, I was cool. And I was scared shitless. I was scared out of my mind, man. And I was not going to have a good afternoon, but somebody was looking out for me on that day. So Fossey, yeah, I heard about Rick. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week. Yeah, did they find out what happened to the guy? I'm assuming it was just completely sudden that way. I heard about that. It's a shame. I never met him. I don't know if he ever interacted. I think I might have been friends with him on Facebook. I think, I don't know. But yeah, I heard about it. Hey, JC, how you doing, bud? Trey wants me to talk about the Dolphins. Well, I'll just go to the bathroom and get on the toilet, and that'll tell you all you need to know about the Dolphins. You know, that's about all we need to know. Will the Okay, here's a question. Here's a poll question. What's going to be a higher number? What number is going to be higher? The number of games the Dolphins win this year, or the number of cups that this Panthers core can win? Which number is higher? Sfosh says, I met him a few times. He was a really nice guy. Yeah, he seemed to have a good, happy vibe, right? I ran away and got rid of the parents' present. I could have just exchanged. Yeah. Yeah, dude stole the watch. That was back when those kinds of watches were in style. Always had a nice watch. My parents would always give me watches. Interesting. Now we make phone calls with our watches. Can you look at your phone and let me know what time it is? If somebody showed up from the 1950s and heard the things that come out of our mouths, they would wonder if we were smoking crack or not. Hey, can you look at your phone and tell me the time? It's like, what? It's my phone. How will my phone tell me what time it is? So, yeah, he didn't take the money. He did not take the money. I got lucky, but I was scared. So Savash says, who is the team besides the Leafs that scares me in the Eastern Conference? You guys know how I feel about Montreal. I know some people think they're not quite cooked yet, but to me, the Panthers are going to be more likely to struggle against like a young, energetic team at some point because, just how much gas can we possibly have in the tank? It's a good question. Honestly, I suppose if the Devils could ever put it together, in the way that you're saying it, it's like, if any of the teams scare me, I'm trying to be objective. But when I look at our roster and I look at everybody else's roster, if the Panthers are healthy, as crazy as this sounds as a Panther fan all these years, if we're healthy, unless there's some big trade that goes down to help one of those other teams, I kind of expect us to be back in the Stanley Cup final again this year. Like with the roster that we have, unless we just completely run out of gas, which I don't think is going to happen. I hate to use the word expect, but I can't get around it when I think about a 7-game series with any of these other teams. Of course, anybody can beat anybody on any given day, but eliminating the Panthers, that is going to be a job to eliminate this team and end that run. And if we're healthy, especially if Tkachuk is healthy, if Bob is in good shape, and we pretty much have our whole team together, I don't know that anybody in the conference scares me. Cuban, what kind of watch was it? It was a Timex. It was a Timex, gold tone with like the silver trim, a lot of gold, but fake gold, not real gold. He probably thought it was real gold. JC says, from the sun telling us the time to phones. Yeah. Vincent said, my fridge wished me to have a nice day once. I had a calculator watch because I can only count so high using my fingers. I never had a calculator watch. My fingers are too chubby. I'm not good with small buttons. River says, which franchise will win a playoff game series first, the Dolphins or the Marlins? Honestly, I would think the Marlins. I think of all the teams, the Dolphins are the furthest away because they need a complete rebuild. I mean, they from the top down, the Dolphins might have 7 players that are worth a decent amount in a trade. And that might be high. They need a full teardown rebuild. Greg says, no team scares me as a Cats fan currently. Only thing that can make them out is injuries. Yeah. I can easily go around Ekblad. Hey, Tariffs. Yeah, pretty much. Hunger says, the Marlins are a wreck without a captain. The Dolphins will win a playoff game before them. I mean, the Marlins are a wreck, sure. But I think the Dolphins are in worse shape. I mean, the Marlins at least have some kind of recent history, right? I don't know. It's a tough call. Both franchises are awful. Dietrich says, this just in, the Dolphins have been eliminated from playoff contention. Exactly, Terrace. Every time the Marlins get a good player, they get sent off. Stanton, all right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's been happening since forever with this team. I mean, I don't know how many of you were fans during the first fire sale, but that was just crazy. Like, you win the World Series and you don't even bring hardly anybody back. It was just the wildest thing to win the World Series, and then just everybody got traded. Everybody got sent away. It just, I know that financially things weren't great, but it could have been better. It could have, it's wild. Yeah, I remember we had Piazza for that week. Yeah. Honky says, I was there a million years ago cursing at your TV and Huizenga, right? JC, Dolphins are cushioned divas. No heart, no grit, overpaid, living in paradise. Yep. Coach, it's I know. I agree with JC, man. It's bad. Yeah, we had Piazza for that week. That was crazy. I remember that. But just the difference in the roster between those 2 years. It was so surreal starting the next season, and it's just like all the guys were gone. Vincent says, so the third game in that Fallen Leaf series was a shit show. They didn't come to play until they woke up. Well, I remember they asked Maurice about that after we won the Cup, and what he said was that the Panthers were having trouble adjusting to the difference in style of play between Tampa and Toronto. And in his words, he said, once we got that figured out, obviously we were fine, right? So, but that's the first time I've heard them talk about struggling to get, at all, really, other than Vegas. They posted that game on the Florida on the game 3. Is that right? JC says once Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas left, they took the heart, character, and identity with them. Yeah. Those are the 2 jerseys I have. I got my Jason Taylor right there. Kyle stole my Zach Thomas. We always lost when I wore that one anyway, so it's okay. Which team do I like better, 97 or 2003? That's a good question. It's hard not to like that 97 team the way we won. You know what I mean? An extra innings, game 7. That's pretty cool for your first win ever. Did Yager pay anything for the hair? He stole my hair, man. No, I got no money for that. None whatsoever. That's okay. That'll be all right. Shanghai Dragons. Poor. And is he done playing yet? Is there? Because I know he said he was going to. No, that's Gallant coaching for the Shanghai Dragons. I'm getting my ex-Panthers all mixed up. What do you want from me? Huh? Jeez, next thing I'll be calling the Dolphins the Panthers and the Panthers the Heat. And it's already bad enough. Got to watch those stinking games. Poor Kyle, man. He was trying to cope last night and thinking that the Dolphins could maybe still be decent. And it was so different when the Panthers were bad. Like, it hurt my heart that they were bad, man. It was just like I would bitch and yell and scream and complain, but it was out of wanting them to be better. It was out of a different level of expectation. Especially, around the whole Gallant time and all of that. It's like you could tell that the team was – you could tell it was changing, right? You could tell that the culture and the way that this franchise was being run was changing. But it was just such a weird time because Talon had his plan. Whether or not it would have worked, he was executing his plan. That can't be argued. And then we just go and flip the whole thing upside down. And Gabranson is gone, and Kulikov is gone. You bring in Yandel and Demers, and you do the whole thing with Gallant. And it was just, but the diehard fans were emotionally invested. Yeah, we were angry, but we were emotionally invested. With what the Dolphins are doing now, it's like the emotions have just been beaten out of us. And it's hard, man, because it's almost like you feel bad that you don't care as much as you should or as much as you used to. But it's just only so many times you can get the shovel, get a shovel to the face before you stop caring. Yeah, at least we all can laugh at the Ravens. Jesus. If Pomo didn't get hired, who would have been the coach, and do we still have at least one cup? I think it would have still been Bruno. I think part of the reason they moved on from him was Maurice was available. I mean, I could be wrong there. But I think we had so many retread coaches, right? And you could have looked at Maurice as, oh, here they go again. It's another retread. And it would have been right. And eventually guys can win. It's just the perfect combination of his system and him learning and becoming a little bit more malleable and how he's coaching with the players coming in and Zito just, I mean, when you look at it in a book form, the moves that Zito's been able to make, it's just one after another after another after another. I mean, Reinhardt, Bennett, Verhaeghe, Marchand. Zito was the Trocheck deal too, right? Right? I believe he was. Did he do the Trocheck deal too? Vincent says the Dolphins are so smart. How come they chase the ball for fish? Greg says without Pomo, there's no cup. I'll probably agree with that, yeah. Exactly, Vincent. Then Kulikov's return made everything right. The sun is shining. There's still one part left to that, though. Okay? Every year we get the older, aging veteran defenseman that helps us win. It's got to, at some point, it's got to be Gabranson. If you're really gonna put bookends on it, We need to win a cup with Gabranson Kulikov as the bottom pair. That would really tie it up nice and neat. JC says, my neighbor here in Dallas is in shambles. He keeps saying they were one good defensive player away from winning and brings – oh, boy. Yeah, that's hard, man. Dietrich says, what are the odds McDaniels is replaced this season? I think pretty good. Honestly, at some point. It could happen if we're – I don't know if he'll do it at 0-3. Hey, Colby. Gators got upset. Yeah, the Dolphins suck. Yep. Trocheck was talent panic move. Okay. So then the point I was making there was I was thinking about Luosterainen. So then that's another player that Talon's a little bit responsible for. What was his quarterback rating, Colby? Yeah, Dallas was one coach away from winning the West. Oh, yeah, let's never forget about that, right? 2.7, Colby? Jesus. Oh, man. Yeah, Quinn Ewers could not have done worse. I agree there, Colby. Craig says, if he gets smoked by the Bills and both McDaniel and Greer should be gone, well, it's just what will Ross do? All that's going to happen anyway, even if McDaniel gets fired, all they're going to do is move Weaver up into the interim position. That's all that's coming at most. If they move on from McDaniel, they're just going to move Weaver into that position. And then we'll be in Dan Campbell land all over again. Dolphins need to hire Belichick. God help us. I think he's done. I think Belichick had his day. I don't know what the hell he's doing. What year did I leave Miami? Did I go to Joe Robbie Stadium? So I lived right by Joe Robbie Stadium. I left Miami. Let me see. 91, 92. I left South Florida for good in 99 was there. I think 98, 97, 98. But yeah, I grew up in Ives Estates. I grew up, we would ride our bike to the California Club Mall, lock up our bikes, and then walk to Joe Robbie Stadium and scalp tickets on the way, whether it was a Dolphin game or a Marlins game. I only went to the Miami Arena a few times for some Panther games, but that was a bit of a hike. You know, we went to some playoff games. But yeah, JRS, I always call it Joe Robbie Stadium. Belichick's really stinking up the Tar Heels, right? You left Kendall in 99 and went back in 2014. Yeah, I mean, look, it's funny, man, because my dad grew up in Coral Gables. And when I was growing up, he would tell stories. Smells like I got a skunk outside. So when I was growing up, my dad would tell stories about how there were canals and stuff and places he used to go fishing that got filled in to make roads and houses. And now when my kids are growing up, I told the stories about how there was places that I used to go fishing out west, like in Fort Lauderdale and, you know, out there west, even, you know, almost as far as 27, that I used to go fishing that they got, you know, basically filled in to build houses. So, yeah, I mean, the traffic is just, and now where we, you know, kids grew up in Brevard County, and now it's gotten crazy there too. You worked at the Toys R Us in Coral Gables. Good old Toys R Us. Used to take 20 minutes to go from West Kendall to the Marlins or Heat games. Now it takes 20 minutes to get to the Turnpike. Yeah, it's I watched it happen. Well, hell, when I grew up, in Mady Ives, California Club, that's when they were building all of that. If you know where that is on 199 Ives Estates, they were building all that stuff there. That's California Club. That was all empty land. It was crazy. And then they put it in the California Club Mall, and they just went all the way west. And I guess now there's nothing left for them to do. And now they're starting to do that same stuff like over in Brevard County and everything. So, I like not my little, but I like my spot here where it's just nice and peaceful. As long as I live I'm safe from Vincent here. You know what I mean? If I live too close to where Vincent lives, I'm pretty sure he would be toilet papering and egging my house on a nightly basis. So I have to stay here in Maryland just to stay safe. He's almost like a Leaf fan sometimes. It's bad. I'm kind of scared. Let's see if he's still awake. But so I think the rookie tournament, I was looking it up. I had it on my phone here. Where is this? Or did I look it up? I look it up on my laptop. Let's see. Florida Panthers rookie tournament. I think it's Friday. Let's go. So, we play Friday at 2:00 in the afternoon against the Canes. Saturday at 5:00 in the afternoon against the Lightning. And then Monday at noon, we play the Predators. And then the roster, Moses, Devine, McClinsky, Chorsky, Lundmark, Tellier, Davies, Sachin, Bush, Steves, McAllister, St. Martin, Vilmanis, Kai Schwint, Mastro Simone, Alsher, Jansen, Cameron, Heward, Powell, Horvolka, Cooper Black, Denault, and Jaris Muke. I know Kirill. So definitely interested in watching these because there's some guys I want to see. Cooper Black, I want to see Horvolka, Sachin, St. Martin, Alsher. So these are all, and this is, these are the rookies. You know what I mean? It's not really any of the veteran AHL guys that are playing. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. JC says, could you imagine if you were in South Florida, every weekend game would be a live stream tailgate with no one in the chat? We'd all be at the house. Yeah. And then I just charge a $5 cover charge. Everybody go home, nobody show up. Yeah. That'd be nuts. It's a good idea for content, though. Just have like multiple cameras like they do at what the hell's the place? I can never say, I never can remember the place. The Elbow Room. Like they have at the Elbow Room. We just set up cameras to live stream whatever's going on in each room. And we just stream the games from there. But we'll have that. We'll keep one room without the live. We'll keep one room without a camera. Because I know Trey's going to show up and you never know what he's going to do. You got to make sure it's all good. Yeah, that would be great, right? That would be fun. Shit. It's not a bad idea for content, Huh. Well, all I need is about what What would this house cost me in South Florida? Probably about $3 million. David says, trying to stay grateful, man, but my job sucks. Missed the whole show. Oh, man. That's okay. We're just talking stories and talking shit about the Dolphins. We might have a little bit of hockey here to talk about soon, thankfully. I mean, the first preseason games are 2 weeks away. So, I mean, at some point they will announce, I guess camp is going to start next week, right? The days with the cup are over, right? There shouldn't be anybody left. At this point, everybody should kind of be done with that. Taking a nice long nap. It seems like this offseason was shorter. So just me, well, maybe that's because I wasn't going through the whole Fluffy thing and the whole girlfriend leaving thing. So maybe that's why this one feels a lot shorter. Last year kind of felt like a long offseason because those 3 weeks after we won, when I was dealing with Fluffy, that was hard. So, yeah, probably went by really, really. It just seems like it was just yesterday. Even though it's been a long summer, it's also been just like I don't feel like how could they have recovered in such a short amount of time? But I guess that's when you're young. That's what you do. Yeah, JC says, how do you think the AHL kids feel knowing the odds of getting called up are slim to none? Right? Ain't that the truth? I do want to see Horvoka though, because at some point, we will need to start seeing. I'd like to see him be able to be. Whenever we stop getting the aging veterans to be the sixth defenseman, maybe he could come up. What year is Gabranson on? Is he on the third year of that 4x4? He got no money to bring anybody up anyway. So if it's Petrie this year, Gabranson needs to be next year. We still got to win a cup with those two. That just makes sense. Craig says it seems shorter and less cup coverage of the guys' day with it. Seems more mellow this year. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got. Like I think if they win a third straight, maybe they'll change it up a bit and have a different kind of celebration, other than the parade. Jay says we're notorious for never calling anyone up. Even worse now, how successful the team has been. Yeah. Even in the bad days, a lot of times we would just pick up some old, aging, decrepit veteran at the deadline that didn't really have any chance to do anything for us instead of bringing up kids. Maurice ain't going to be begging to bring anybody up. So, all right. That's going to do it for today. Kyle will be live for the Dolphin Pleasure Speakers at 3 o'clock. And just be nice. It's not his fault. It is his fault. Blame Kyle. Definitely his fault. He still has hope. Don't ruin his hope. He still thinks the Dolphins are going to be okay and they're going to beat the Patriots because we can't lose to the Patriots at home, right? I think that's his logic. So he'll see you guys at 3 o'clock. He'll be okay. And then I'll be back tomorrow at noon. I got something coming out on the football channel. And we still got more hockey things coming out. And then I'm going to try to work on this week, the 3 games. Oh, crap. We got a yard sale going on Friday and Saturday this week. Can I stream those games? Let me see. Fridays at 2. I know I can stream the Saturday game, and I know I can stream the Monday game. I'll see about the Friday one. I'll have to have Kyle run the end of the yard sale. The yard sale is supposed to stop at 2, and the game starts at 2. So we'll see how Friday goes because I think we're streaming the game Thursday night because I think it's a good NFL game Thursday night. So that's okay. I just won't sleep until after we won the cup again. Is what it is. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. And say hi to Kyle at 3 o'clock. And I shall see you. We're getting close. We're getting close. We got less than 2 weeks until actual hockey. And then all hell breaks loose, thankfully. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.